There's a strange shop that just opened at the edge of my small town. I live in a very small town in Michigan called Hartsville. One so small that there's maybe only 700 to 800 living here at any given time, give or take. And even then, it isn't exactly big, just enough people to get by, if you can call this little town getting by. There's some nice places that exist, sure. There's the church and the bakery and the diner where I work with my boss, Mr. Haddock, and the grocery store that sells all the goods you could possibly need. And we do what many a small town like us had done before. We make a deal between ourselves that we won't bother anyone else. So, as far as I'm concerned, no one has bothered me. Since it doesn't matter to me who lives on my street as long as they don't try to come into my house, etc. All of this to say, it was this way. That was until the shop showed up at the very edge of town, not too far from where I live. A place with a big sign which read, "The Compendium." Nothing more. It was a Gothic-looking building that still held this almost pristine newness to it. It's hard to describe. It didn't look like something anyone would have thought someone would want to shop in, let alone own, especially when compared with the other shops on the street. It more so looked like... Screw it, I'll give the analogy. It looked like the Addams Family house. It wasn't particularly bright, but still seemed to stand out somehow, which wasn't strange for a Gothic-looking, haunted house-esque shop called the Compendium. All this to say that, when it showed up, the whole town just seemed to come alight with buzzing questions and curiosity. For months it sat. No one went in, and no one even came out. But all the same, a sign reading "Open" would be visible during the day, and only one window alight at night. Like someone lived there and ran a shop out of it. Everybody passed it. Everybody saw it. But no one dared go in, let alone near. Well, until this morning. This morning, despite all the buzzing and rumors, it's not like they'd been inside the place themselves or knew the person or persons inside. I decided to pay the Compendium a visit. And oh boy, I don't regret it. But I'm certainly not comfortable about it either. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. As the old cliche goes, we must start at the beginning. It's currently May 12th that I'm recounting the past couple days' events. I took some well-deserved vacation time away from the diner. You know how any food service of any kind is. Stress to the max. But mostly everyone in Hartsville is kind and considerate, so it does make it far more tolerable. Anywho, most of the buzz I'd heard about the Compendium had been during my many shifts as a cook. I'd hear coworkers theorizing over what the place could be, and I'd often go out to the customers myself when it was slow to make sure I'd done everything just right and that they were completely satisfied, and hear customers' crackpot theories on what the place most definitely was. A drug front? A government op hideout? I had to stifle laughter. Oh, you tinfoil hat folks. How I love the things you often come up with. So, like I said, after months of hearing about it and driving past it and seeing the light at night and the open sign during the day, I decided, what the heck? What the hey? It could just be a really cool pawn shop. Or maybe a really tiny flea market with all sorts of retro comic books and toys. The more I thought about that, the more giddy the little geeky kid inside of me got, and I ultimately gave Mr. Haddock a call after my shift on Saturday night when I knew he was still going to be there closing up. "Hello, Hogan's Diner. If it sucks, you saw nothing. How can I help you?" he said in his unmistakably gruff but medium-pitched voice. I smiled. Even under the worst of circumstances, Haddock was never short on wit. It diffused quite a few customer freakouts by a hair in the past. "Hey boss, it's Anthony." "Oh hey kid, what's up? Don't tell me you're so bored you need another shift," he chuckled. Unfortunately, there's a bit too much truth behind that statement. Actually, no, for once I was going to ask to take some time off. Wind down a little bit, I said, not mentioning the compendium trip I had planned. Honestly, I pretty much knew he wouldn't care ultimately, but I just decided to avoid the subject entirely, just in case. Lord knows, he could accidentally say something to the wrong person, and I'm officially known as the weird guy who dared to go near a creepy building he probably could have died in. Not worth the eye rolling for me. They knew nothing until they actually went and made a genuine visit for themselves. To me, this is going to be a coin flip. Could be an absolute treasure trove of a find. Could be a super lame pawn shop or just some stupid shop altogether run by some eccentric. Only way to know was to go. So after getting the go-ahead from my boss to take the next few days off, I should clarify, yes, I usually work on Sundays too. Refer to the "so bored you need another shift" comment. I decided the very next morning, bright and early, that I was going to hop in my car and pay the compendium a little visit. Thanks so much for listening, guys. A quick shout out to my patrons: Kevin Kess, Sabiel Eclipse, 055555, Cormac Wells, Amara, Matthew Steiner, Cupcake Hips, Alonzo, Mr. Sankofa, Michael Milburn, Kozak, Icy Narrates, Jesse Hartley, Eric Cifuentes, Andreas Anderson London, Lawrence Wallen, Geek Sanctuary, Melissa Perez, and this guy. That is someone's actual username. I love that. Thanks again so much for watching, guys. If there's anything you would like me to pray for, I would love to know how I can be praying for you. I hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video.